China is surging ahead in AI, electric vehicles, and beyond. DeepSeek, its latest AI model, is making waves, while Chinese EV giants like BYD are outpacing Tesla in sales. The country is also leading in high-speed rail, 5G infrastructure, and semiconductor manufacturing, all backed by a nationalist workforce laser-focused on strengthening China's global dominance. Meanwhile, in the U.S., corporations have sidelined their original thinkers, replacing them with rote-learning conformists in key managerial positions. Many of these managers are immigrants, more invested in building personal fortunes than securing America's future. One such group dominating America's corporate landscape is Indian tech workers. In the previous video, we explored how India's education system and the H-1B visa pipeline fueled this rise. But is their impact on America as beneficial as it seems? While they are undeniably hardworking, their approach to work often prioritizes conformity and hierarchy over innovation and independence. Critics argue that this mindset, shaped by a culture of deference, corruption, and a lack of meritocracy, could slow down America's ability to stay at the cutting edge of technology and innovation. One such critique comes from the American Renaissance handle on X. In an article titled "A White Man in the Indian-Dominated Tech Sector," the author describes what he calls a culture of clannishness, where caste and community take precedence over merit, loyalty, and professional ethics. In the workplace, they often aim to gain favor by fawning over management and exaggerating their contributions, rather than concentrating fully on delivering results. According to the article, their goal is to secure positions in recruitment, where they favor individuals from their own backgrounds. This practice leads to a steady influx of Indian workers, often at the expense of diversity and meritocracy. This pattern is evident in certain localities in India, where migration to the U.S. has become a well-established pipeline. For example, in states like Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and Tamil Nadu, entire neighborhoods have seen one person secure an H-1B job and subsequently help relatives, friends, and acquaintances follow suit. In Hyderabad's Kukatpalli and Amirpet, known for their IT training institutes, aspiring tech workers often see moving to the U.S. as the ultimate goal, with mentorship networks and referrals reinforcing the cycle. The city of Guntur in Andhra Pradesh has become famous for producing waves of IT professionals who have settled en masse in the U.S., particularly in cities like Dallas, Houston, and Silicon Valley. In some cases, entire apartment complexes in the U.S. are occupied by individuals from the same Indian city, caste, or even extended family. Beyond the tech industry, Gujaratis, particularly the Patel community, have established one of the most successful chain migration models in the U.S. Patels, originally from villages in Gujarat, first moved to the U.S. in large numbers under the 1965 Immigration and Nationality Act. Once settled, they sponsored extended family members, who in turn brought more relatives, leading to entire Patel-dominated neighborhoods in states like New Jersey, Texas, and California. Today, over 50% of all motels and budget hotels in the U.S. are owned by Patels, earning them the nickname Patel Motel Cartel. The Patel migration model, though not predominantly IT-focused, mirrors the clannish hiring practices seen in tech. Once a Patel-owned business is established, the workforce is largely drawn from their own community, creating ethnic hiring clusters that limit diversity. This phenomenon creates closed hiring loops, where once a critical mass of people from a particular region secures jobs in a company, they actively recruit only from their own circles. Over time, these networks discourage diversity and often sideline more qualified candidates who lack the right connections, reinforcing the perception that the H-1B system is being gamed. But this is not the only form of unmeritocratic recruitment that undermines American organizational quality. there is a more insidious backdoor entry at play. For many American businesses, India is a lucrative market. Beyond granting approvals for investments and licenses, the Indian government is a major client for American firms, particularly in the defense, infrastructure, and technology sectors. However, doing business in India is often far from straightforward or transparent. Some senior executives, speaking on condition of anonymity, have shared accounts of high-ranking officials in the Indian government allegedly requesting favors, including U.S.-based jobs for their children and relatives. These officials are said to leverage their influence to secure positions for their children in American companies, allowing them to settle in the U.S. If true, such practices further undermine the quality of talent entering American firms. According to recent estimates, there are approximately 5.1 million Indian immigrants in the United States, making up around 1.47% of the total U.S. population. While this may seem like a small percentage, their presence is disproportionately felt due to their significant role in sectors like technology, healthcare, and academia. Indian Americans have the highest median household income among ethnic groups in the U.S., reflecting their professional success and industriousness. However, with their growing prominence comes a set of cultural tensions that often highlight fundamental differences between Indian and Western values. These contrasts have drawn criticism from various quarters, including far-right groups, who argue that Indian immigrants resist assimilation into American society. Let's delve into the 8 primary points of contention. Number 1. Individualism versus collectivism. Western societies champion individual rights, personal autonomy, and self-expression as cornerstones of their cultural identity. In contrast, Indian culture places a premium on familial obligations, community decision-making, and deference to authority figures. For example, the widespread practice of arranged marriages, or even the expectation of adhering to family-chosen partners, starkly contrasts with the Western ideal of personal choice in romantic relationships. This cultural divide is further magnified by practices like dowries or community vetting, which can feel regressive to Western sensibilities. Number 2. Hypocrisy. Liberty abroad, oppression at home. Many Indian immigrants benefit from and appreciate the liberty, secularism, and equal rights offered by Western democracies. Yet, their political loyalties often support a government in India criticized for authoritarianism and discrimination against minorities. Despite enjoying freedom of religion and speech in the U.S., some openly endorse policies back home that suppress dissent, restrict media freedom, and marginalize religious groups.
Modi ji is great. He has brought golden age of India back in front of us. Modi, Modi, Modi,
Modi, Modi, Modi. Since 2014, mob lynchings, home demolitions, and attacks on churches and mission schools have surged in India. Nearly 90% of religious hate crimes recorded in recent years have occurred after 2014, with cow vigilante mobs responsible for dozens of Muslim deaths. Christian persecution has also intensified, with attacks on churches and clergy rising sharply, reaching 687 incidents in 2023 alone. A 2021 Pew Research study highlighted that 68% of Indians support laws preventing interfaith marriages, reflecting a broader social preference for state control over personal liberties. This stark contrast underscores the hypocritical relationship many Indian immigrants have with the principles of liberty and equality, championing these rights in the U.S. while backing their suppression in India. Number 3. Religious rituals, pollution, and public inconvenience. Western societies emphasize environmental consciousness and respect for public spaces, while Indian culture is deeply intertwined with loud and elaborate religious traditions. many of which have environmental and social consequences. Practices such as bursting firecrackers for festivals often lead to severe pollution and inconvenience to others. This isn't India, it's Chicago, where fans burst crackers and poured milk over posters of a film actor who glorifies toxic masculinity and stalking. In India, major rivers are choked with religious waste, flowers, ashes, plastic-wrapped offerings, and even partially submerged idols. In some cases, human corpses are left floating in the river as part of last rites, particularly in Varanasi and other sacred sites along the Ganges. Noise pollution is another issue, with blaring loudspeakers from religious places and street processions disrupting everyday life. While such practices may be tolerated in India as part of its cultural fabric, they clash with Western environmental and civic norms. Now, imagine if too many of these people settled near the Mississippi or the Colorado River. Number 4. Work-life balance versus work-centric culture. Western cultures emphasize work-life balance, leisure, and pursuing personal passions as markers of a fulfilling life. Conversely, many Indian immigrants, shaped by societal pressures for financial stability, often adopt grueling work schedules. This dynamic is especially evident in the tech industry, where Indian workers are sometimes perceived as undercutting local employees by accepting longer hours and lower pay. Number 5. Patriarchy and gender roles. Indian societal norms frequently uphold traditional gender roles, which can conflict with progressive Western ideals of gender equality and empowerment. For example, Indian women in the U.S. may face expectations to shoulder domestic responsibilities even in dual-income households. Number 6. Caste-based bias in a meritocratic society. The enduring presence of caste-based hierarchies among Indian immigrants starkly contrasts with the meritocratic ideals foundational to Western societies. These biases manifest in subtle ways, such as preferential hiring practices, religious groupings, or exclusionary social circles, leading to accusations of perpetuating inequality within the diaspora. Number 7. Ethics, a cultural blind spot. While Western cultures prioritize transparency, accountability, and adherence to established ethical standards, many Indian immigrants bring with them attitudes shaped by a system where bending the rules is often seen as a necessity for survival. Fraudulent practices in academia are not uncommon among students and professionals from a culture that prioritizes results over the process. Some applicants have been caught submitting fake certificates, plagiarized essays, or even hiring ghostwriters to secure entry into prestigious programs. Similarly, resume padding, where individuals exaggerate or outright fabricate their skills and experience, has been reported in job applications, further tarnishing the reputation of Indian professionals in competitive industries. A notable example in the workplace is the H-1B visa fraud, where some Indian-owned consultancies have been implicated in manipulating visa processes. These firms have been accused of exploiting workers by paying them below market wages, creating fake job offers to secure visas, or even running benching schemes, where employees are brought to the U.S. without an actual job and made to wait indefinitely for projects. Number 8. The U.S. A gold mine, not a homeland. For many Indians, the United States is seen less as a homeland to integrate into and more as a gold mine to exploit. Remittances to families back in India are a priority, sometimes at the expense of local community engagement or contributions to American society. The result is a diaspora that is often seen as insular, prioritizing personal or familial gain over broader societal integration. Even the education system is not immune to this mindset. Indian families often push their children into STEM fields, not out of passion or curiosity, but because of the lucrative career paths these disciplines offer in the U.S. The result is a workforce that is skilled but often lacks the innovation or risk-taking spirit that comes from deeper engagement with the culture and values of the host country. But will this steady influx of conformity-driven professionals gradually push America away from being a leader in technology toward becoming an outsourcing hub like Bangalore? The South Indian city, often dubbed the Silicon Valley of India, is better known for outsourced IT services, assembly line coding, and cost-cutting tech support than for groundbreaking innovation. As U.S. corporations prioritize efficiency over originality and fill their ranks with mediocre yet obedient professionals, is America at risk of heading in the same direction, shifting from a hub of pioneering discoveries to a global back office? That said, it's essential to recognize that these observations do not define every Indian immigrant. There are many exceptional Indians who have wholeheartedly embraced American values of creativity, individuality, and equality. While Americans should resist the urge to stereotype and judge Indians or any immigrant group through a monolithic lens, Indians themselves must take a hard, honest look in the mirror. Instead of dismissing such critiques as racist rants, Hinduphobia, or deep state conspiracies, Indians in America can view them as constructive feedback. Retreating into insular narratives will further alienate them from the society they call home. Thank you for watching this episode of Whispering Peepal. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the cultural dynamics between Indian immigrants and American society, don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with the points raised? Do you see a way forward for bridging these cultural divides? Let us know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Whispering Peepal for more thought-provoking explorations of societal, historical, and political topics. Hit the bell icon to stay updated on our latest videos. Together, let's keep the conversation alive. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning.